So Brandon, I've got a knock knock joke for you today. Since the theme of this episode is all about opportunity knocking. You ready for this?
Shouldn't we wait until some of the people get here?
We might repeat it again later, but for the people that are catching the recording, I want to give them a special thing. Okay, here we go. Knock knock. Oh wait, no, you say
there?
knock knock. No.
We have a crying baby. Is it a crying baby joke?
No. Oh. So let's say your opportunity and you're gonna knock. Let's do it this way.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Brandon.
No, you're supposed to say opportunity. I said your opportunity. This is not working. Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Opportunity.
No way. Opportunity only knocks once.
What?
You get it? Because you said knock knock.
Yeah. Opportunity. Hopefully it knocks more than once.
They say it only knocks once.
Yeah, you're right.
But we'd love to actually hear from the people that are watching the recording or joining us live as they get here. Think of an opportunity you believe will knock for you at some point and share that opportunity in the comments. Maybe it's something you want or believe could come your way. Maybe it's something you know is going to come your way. It could be a personal or business. It could be a sure thing or a pie in the sky dream kind of opportunity. We'd love to hear what kind of opportunities you think could knock at one point. And today we're going to share a story about a woman named Jo and the opportunity that she dreamed of as a kid and what it looked like to wait for that and hold on to that even when other opportunities showed their faces throughout her life. Before we get to that story, Brandon, what do you think of when you think of the title of today's episode? Brandon has no clue really the story I'm going to tell. It's about a Christmas tree farm, though. It's going to be awesome. Brandon, what do you think about this cost of an opportunity knock?
Yeah, I think that sometimes people, I hear this all the time, they're waiting for an opportunity or an opportunity passed them by. My dad tells me all the time he had the opportunity to invest in McDonald's a long time ago, and he did not take that, and he wished he did, right? Because he might be in a better financial situation had he done that. Maybe. But it's an opportunity that he says he missed. Or did he?
Yeah. That I do think like opportunities are kind of almost always knocking. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to decide what is the opportunity to take. When should you take it? When should you not take it? Things like that. Opportunities are funny things like that. You can't tell their knocks from the knocks of distractions sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes because of the, what do you say, knock of destruction?
Distraction.
Oh, distraction or destruction. Sometimes those knocks, they come and it's not a knock at the door. It's a literal hurricane that destroyed the door. And you're like, wait, I had this opportunity all lined up and now I got to buy a new house.
Let's not do those kind of opportunities. Let's not talk about those kind today. Let's focus on, again, the positive. If you're just joining us, please share in the comments below the video when you think of an opportunity you believe will knock at some point. What do you think of? Maybe it's something you want or believe could come your way. Maybe it's something you know is coming. Maybe it's business or personal. It could be a for sure thing or a pie in the sky type dream. Mm-hmm. We'd love to hear what kind of opportunities you're looking to knock, and let's keep them positive, awesome things rather than, I don't think you would call a bad thing an opportunity.
No, I'm saying those bad things
get in the way of opportunity.
Get in the way of our opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about when there's nothing in the way, you have an opportunity knock, and you're trying to decide, do you take that opportunity or not, and how to measure the true cost of that opportunity. So should we jump into the story of Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe with J-O-E, or who's
Just
Joe?
J-O.
J-O. Okay.
J-O. Okay. So picture Joe as a little girl, and her biggest desire at that point is to own a Christmas tree farm. She'd always loved the smell of pine trees when her family would get a live tree for Christmas each year. She wanted to be surrounded by those green needles throughout the year, every year, and bring the joy of a real Christmas tree to other families. This was her dream as a kid. Okay?
Sounds like a weird dream to me.
Hey, some people have this dream to own a Christmas tree farm. Hey, more power to them. Yep. In research for this episode, I did find that this is a thing, and you can find lots of information. Just like Joe did when she was a teenager, she started getting serious about owning and running a Christmas tree farm. She researched how much it would cost to purchase the land, plant the trees, do the upkeep. She knew to the penny how much she would want to save to get up and going with her Christmas tree farm and make sure it's going to be profitable and all those things. And let's just say that that amount is $100,000, just to keep the math simple. Yes, gotcha. We are going to do some math today.
We're doing math. I love math.
So Joe is a teenager, and she knows eventually she needs to have $100,000, but she has zero at this point, right? She's focused on high school, making sure she enjoys her childhood, that kind of thing. But she knows eventually she's going to want $100,000 to buy this Christmas tree farm, get it up and running. So from that point forward, every money decision Joe makes is based on whether it's going to get her closer or farther away from owning that Christmas tree farm. Gotcha. And everything goes through that lens. How much is it going to help her accomplish that dream, or how much is it going to get in the way or distract her from accomplishing that dream? Every single financial decision. For example, the end of high school, when she's deciding to go to college, she thinks about the $20,000 per year that it's going to cost out of pocket for her to go, and how, 4 years, that's $80,000 that could be put towards the farm, the Christmas tree farm. But she also considers all the things she'd learn, the connections she'd make, and if it would be worth the $80,000. Yeah. And instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to spend this, make it worth it, she ends up also applying for tons of grants and scholarships to reduce her costs for college. And then she works her way through college, also to help pay the tuition she needs to pay. And she decides, I'm going to work enough, not just to cover my tuition, but also I'm going to put 10% of every dollar that I earn aside to save up for that Christmas tree farm. And then I'm going to hope that after the 4 years, I can get a better paying job, be able to put a lot more toward that Christmas tree farm, right? And the more I can make because I've got this college degree, the more I can put toward the farm. You with me so far?
Yeah. How much does the Christmas tree farm cost?
Remember, it's $100,000.
Okay, $100,000.
Because you got to buy the land, you got to plant the trees, you got to do all the upkeep. It's not a cheap thing. And she wants like a real legit Christmas tree farm. Gotcha. So by the end of college, she saved up $10,000 by saving 10% of everything that she earns. And that $10,000 is growing at 5% per year at that point. So she's crossing the graduation stage, getting her bachelor's degree or whatever, and she's got $10,000 and it's growing at 5%. And just so happens during college, she went through a finance class and she learned the math that she needed to do. So she did the math and figured out it would take her 47 years for that $10,000 to grow to $100,000 if she didn't add anything new to it. So then she's going to be like 69
before she starts the farm.
Yeah. So she's like, this isn't going to happen. I got to add to that 10,000, right? So she gets a nice entry-level job at a Christmas ornament distributor. So it's like, it's not her dream, but at least it's like close. It's in the same field. It's still related to Christmas. It's things that go on the trees, And she continues to diligently put aside 10% of her income every single time she gets her paycheck. 10% goes to her Christmas tree farm fund.
Gotcha.
And that 10% ends up being $3,500 per year. And that $3,500 per year cuts down the time it's going to take her to get to 100 grand from 47 years to just 15 and a half years by seeing it still grow at 5%. So now she's like, I'm going to have this Christmas tree farm in my 30s. This is going to be awesome. I can like work for this Christmas ornament distributor long enough. You know, I can do this. This is going to work. Let's make it happen.
Okay.
Then a few years later, she has the opportunity to buy a house. It's a great housing market. There's a perfect little bungalow that becomes available. Her down payment would be $48,000, and she has $48,200 in her Christmas tree farm account. She's about 7 years in, about 29 years old. And it's like the perfect thing. This bungalow would be really awesome. And owning her home instead of paying rent would save her $500 per month.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds good, right?
Yep.
But it's going to take all of her Christmas tree farm savings to take advantage of this opportunity. Right.
That sucks.
So yeah. Because she's not like that's her cash that's available for that down payment. This opportunity to buy a home has come knocking. How much does that opportunity really cost? Yes, there's the $48,000 down payment. Yes, there's the interest on the mortgage that she'll end up paying. Yes, it's going to save her $500 a month in rent. You know, like when you compare the mortgage and insurance and property taxes. And most people would just stop there and they'd make a decision based on those facts alone. And if we stop there, tell me, what do you think Jo should do? Should she buy the house or should she not buy the house? Tell me in the comments. Or Brandon, from what you know so far, what would you do?
Man, I think it's hard. I mean, I would try and find a different way, maybe, to have both if at all possible. But then, you know, I've been really close to the dream of doing that thing. You put in all that time, and now there's a new dream that comes up, and so I feel like you'd have to make a decision. Which dream do I actually want? Yeah,
and it's not just purely logical. There's some emotion that comes into it.
Yeah, and I've heard that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can either have this, and eventually you'll get the house of your dreams, maybe later. So it's a hard thing to decide. I would never own a Christmas tree farm.
But you can imagine, like, if it was to start some other business, right?
Like a coffee shop, for example, you know, $100,000.
Yeah. But she might not want to put just like 3% down on the home and end up paying mortgage insurance, which could be like $100 a month. That's not what you're talking about in terms of the alternate route to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so here's what Jo does. She sits down, she pulls out that old finance course textbook that she has. She runs some numbers and she's trying to figure out what is the true cost of this home in the delay of her dream to own a Christmas tree farm. Without the home, she doesn't move forward. She's 7 years from reaching that $100,000 she needs to make the dream a reality.
Okay.
If she spends that $48,000 to buy the home, but then because she's saving $500 a month, if she puts that $500 a month back into her Christmas tree farm fund, and it's still growing at the 5% interest that she's, been getting and counting on. Now, instead of it taking her 7 years to get to the farm, it's going to take her 9 years. Okay. So if she keeps renting, she'll have the Christmas tree farm in 7 years, but she'll still be renting and wouldn't own a home. Or she can buy the home, be paying the mortgage, save the $500 a month and be at the Christmas tree farm in 9 years. So it's a 2-year difference. Does that change what you think she should do?
2 years isn't that big a deal. If I could shorten it to 7 in this exact same time frame, then I would do that. But overall, then 2 years isn't, again, that significant to me.
Yeah. Spoken like an older person. That's really the cost of this new opportunity that came knocking is 2 years of a delayed dream. And we could go to some famous poet, I think in Langston Hughes, what happens to a dream deferred? Does she really want to work 2 more years at the Christmas ornament distributor, right?
Yeah.
Could she, I actually think if she buys the home, maybe it's got like a second bedroom she could rent out and be able to make up for those 2 years. There's a lot of different variables that are moving that could be really fun to explore. And if Joe's a true entrepreneur, she's probably thinking outside the box and being creative that way.
I hope so.
Now, you might be asking yourself, if you're catching this, why are we telling Joe's story?
Yeah, why does it matter to me?
Yeah,
not doing it. I don't know about you. I'm not doing a Christmas tree farm.
Right. But we all, like Joe, have dreams, and then we have opportunities that come as well. And your dream likely isn't to own a Christmas tree farm. Maybe it's start a business. Maybe it's simply to retire one day. Hopefully you shared that dream earlier in the comments. If you haven't yet, please do so now. But then you'll also have opportunities that come up that may or may not be related to your dream. We have houses we could buy. We have new jobs we could take. We have new products or services we could sell, even within our own existing businesses. Opportunities are always there, and we have to have some kind of filter for filtering them.
Yeah, to know what is an opportunity and what's a distraction.
Exactly. But how many of us are asking, when opportunity knocks, should I answer? And how will my answer impact my ultimate goals and dreams? How many of us are running the numbers to discover how those opportunities will impact our financial goals and dreams? And I intentionally wrote Joe's story as big items, like a farm, buying a farm and buying a house, and they're big numbers, $100,000 and $48,000 down payment, stuff like that. But often these decisions are on a much smaller scale, right? And this is where the financial gurus out there talk about the latte. And that $4 latte that you buy could have grown into blah, 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 right?
I remember talking about this.
Yeah, we've talked about it in a recent podcast episode. So I ran the numbers just for fun to see what this would look like. Let's say Joe has a $4 a latte once a week habit. Okay. And that habit's there from when she's 22, finishing college. So instead of saving $3,500 a month, she's only, or $3,500 a year, she's only saving $3,300 a year because she's spending $200 a year on lattes by buying one $4 latte a week. Okay.
That's a lot of lattes.
It is.
I mean, I'd hate to look at my latte bill.
But so remember when we were doing the buy a home or not buy a home, it delayed her Christmas tree farm purchase by 2 years.
Yeah.
The latte habit only delays her Christmas tree farm purchase by 1 year. Okay. And she's having a latte every single week for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so many of us focus on the lattes, right? Or we focus on the house and we forget the vice versa. But I wonder, if you were Joe, which one would you focus on? Skipping that $4 latte once a week, or foregoing buying that house when the opportunity comes up? I mean, they're both really opportunities, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we look at the little things, or maybe, again, sometimes somebody might look at the big things, and everything comes at a price, is what I hear. Price for that latte costs more. Price for that house, even price for starting a business. We just hope that that price is the the cost is going to outweigh
No, the benefit's going to outweigh
the
the
benefits
cost.
are going to outweigh the cost.
Yeah.
I knew I was saying something wrong.
So Brandon, if you could find today's podcast episode and put it in the comments, we shared a similar example in the podcast episode where we went through if somebody had money that was growing, how much, I think $10,000 would grow to like about $30,000 by the time they would hit retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And if they spent that $10,000 and then paid themselves back for it, they would end up with like $25,000 at retirement. It's like a $5,000 difference. And that could be a car purchase. That could be a really nice vacation trip. But I feel like hardly anyone thinks in those terms. They think this vacation or this car that cost me $10,000. This latte cost me $4. This home would cost me $48,000 for the down payment plus the interest or whatever. Yeah. But they're not. But if we think, well, if I let this money grow for the next 30 years, it could grow into X, Y, or Z. That's really the cost of that item. Instead of a $10,000 vehicle, it's now a $30,000 vehicle. Just when you think about the opportunity cost, that $4 latte does become a dream deferred a year, right? The $48,000 home becomes a dream deferred 2 years. And I just don't hear people thinking in those terms. Do you?
No, I think it's thinking about one thing or one. We're going to solve for this, and we're not looking at the other variables that are there, or we don't even think about that. We just want to go after this, and I feel like there's a lot of people who have a dream for a Christmas tree farm, and they aren't actually doing anything, right? They just have this dream, and they're like, I hope the opportunity comes. And they're not doing anything. They're not like Joe even saving.
Yeah, that's actually the cost of it when an opportunity knocks and you haven't prepared for that opportunity, is that then it's gone.
Yeah.
And it may never come again.
Because somebody might have came along with her and they said, oh, we have this and it's $80,000. And she maybe is prepared for it, right?
Right. Or maybe instead of that home, all of a sudden, because the real estate market, is down, there's a Christmas tree farm that's available for half off, and it's only $50,000. It'd be a lot easier for her to scrounge up $2,000 from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because she already has the 48.
Yeah. I think again, thinking in lines of your money needing it to do things, right? And there is a cost. Like for us, buying an espresso machine, there's an opportunity to start a coffee shop, and we had to spend $10,000 for an espresso machine, just that alone. It's a lot to think through. But I think it's partially knowing what we want. Like she was very clear of what she wanted. A lot of people are not, and then they're wondering why what do you call it? They're missing something. They feel like, hey, there's something else missing. There's a void there. And I think part of it is because they haven't pursued those opportunities that are in front of them, or they haven't explored themselves to know what they would consider an opportunity. Because I would not consider having a Christmas tree farm an opportunity at all.
Right. It's another great poet that said, without vision, the people perish. Right. Like if we talked about like what happens with a dream deferred, but also if there is no dream, life is really hard, and it's hard to go to work for that Christmas ornament distributor or, whatever it might be that might feel more meaningless. So that's probably like the first thing is clarity on the dream. And then from there,
Yeah.
crunching the numbers and doing that kind of thing. And I did want to make sure to say that unlike Joe, probably many of the people who watch this video don't have a finance course textbook in their closet. They can pull out.
Only
and
Amanda does.
No, I don't even. And run the numbers like she did in the story. I've got a handy dandy calculator that helps me. I don't actually need to know the formulas. I just put things in to the calculator. It's like, it's not your typical calculator. It's got extra special bells and whistles. But that, but that's
your calculator special.
But that's why it pays to have a good financial professional that can help run those numbers for you and empower you to make good decisions, right? That if you're like, well, if I spend this, how long till I get my dream? If you're not sure how to, like factor that up, then find a financial professional that can help you do that. And if you don't have one of those yet, or yours doesn't help you in that way, like with those kind of decisions like Joe faced, then Brandon and I would love to chat. We're available. You can schedule with us at grandmaswealthwisdom.com/call. Or if you want to like dig into it more, grandmaswealthwisdom.com/intro. But yeah, it pays to have someone run the numbers for you and help you make those decisions, not tell you what to do, right? Yeah. But really lay out the scenario like we laid out for Joe. And that can bring a lot more clarity too.
Well, and asking the questions, right? So I had a client that was asking about, hey, I want to use and we use life insurance and have cash value, and I want to use their policy to maybe buy a car. And for me, I was like, well, you could do that. You have the option to do that. But you might lose the opportunity for something else in the future. I don't know. And then you could go another way, and you could, like maybe you have partial with this car loan or something. I don't know. Taking and using your making payments, right? There's pros and cons in both things, and thinking about what's the opportunity cost of using your savings to buy a car or not, right?
Yeah, because it's not just the numbers too. It's what will that car save you time, right? Getting to the grocery store, right? If you're currently taking the bus or whatever, is all the costs associated with the car, not just the buying of it, but the title and the insurance and the fuel and city stickers if you're in a city area, things like that. But also, like, if it can save you lots more time that you get to spend with your family, it might not matter how much it costs as much, right?
Yeah, and the main question is, does it bring peace of mind, whatever decision that you choose, and not more stress, right? If it brings about stress, or you have to kill one dream to have another, like maybe it's not the best move. I don't know. Only you as the individual would know that, and you have to know what are the opportunities that I want to answer, and what are the opportunities I really would rather it pass me by. Like,
yeah, and like looking at both the emotional side, like Brandon and I, we're very much people that make decisions with our intuition. We like to follow our intuition, our sense of where the divine might be pointing us, that kind of thing. But we always still crunch the numbers first, right? Like, we allow the numbers to influence our intuition, to help us actually sense better what the likely outcomes would be if we choose A, B, or C, that kind of thing. And that has been a really fun way to live life, actually, to say, it's okay if we make this decision 100% based on emotion and intuition, but we're going to crunch the numbers just so we know better the consequences of whatever decision we make. And then let's say we choose the thing that doesn't make sense at all logically, but emotionally, brings lots of joy, relieves stress, all those kind of things. We know what that at least means then for what we have to do with our money to make it work. so that we don't end up causing more stress in the long run.
And you will make mistakes along the way too.
That's true.
And I think that is another piece of, hey, there's an opportunity. I thought it was an opportunity, but it wasn't. And to give yourself grace along that way as you're making those decisions. But at the same time, making those decisions.
Yeah.
Too many people are waiting for the decision, hoping for the ability to buy a Christmas tree farm without
doing the work.
Any work. Yeah.
Oh,
yep. And then they wonder why things are not the way they hope they would be, because they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, anyway. Hopefully this gives you a bunch to chew on around the cost of an opportunity knocking and what things you'd want to think about when an opportunity comes your way, whether it's related to your dream or separate from your dream, how to think about it in terms of logic and emotion, and maybe just have some fun with it, not rush through making the decision if hopefully you don't have to.
Well, and asking yourself, and if you're married and all of that, what are the things that we want? Having that real conversation and starting to build on that, because money will find a way or find a place whenever I don't know. It's like that whole thing of if you're prepared for it, it usually will go in that direction.
Yeah.
And so if you know where you want to go and you have an idea, and you continue to water the ground for that, it's more likely it's going to happen than not if you're not doing anything. And so, but you have to sit with that and ask questions. So journaling, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Whiteboarding. We do a lot of whiteboarding.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Cool. Well, why don't you wrap us up today, Brandon?
Yeah. So guys, thanks for joining us. If you're catching on the replay, hit that hashtag replay. Would love to hear what opportunities are you wanting to see, right? Is it buying real estate, and why? Like, why do you want a real estate empire?
What's important about a real estate empire to you?
Most of the time, it's not even about the thing, it's about what it creates for you. So what is it that you want from a real estate empire, a business, all of that stuff? And I'd love to hear in the comments, like, what are you thinking there and why? And go deeper, keep asking, like, well, I don't know, why would this lady want a Christmas tree farm? I don't know. It seems crazy to me.
Because she loves how the smell of pine and the joy that it brought to her household. She wants other households to have that. Totally makes sense.
All right. I can get an air freshener that is the same thing.
No. You can tell we use a fake tree every year, not a real one.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm probably going to keep it that way. Sometimes I like that smell. But then it can just get the air freshener thing and make it smell like Christmas anytime.
We do have some essential oil that does that for us.
Yeah. So again, what are your dreams? Love to hear. And what opportunities are you missing because you're focused on, I don't know, you're not clear on your opportunities and you're going after something else. Sometimes you're going after somebody else's dream, not your own. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear and join us. I don't think we're on live next week, but we will be the next week. We're going on vacation. So we can't wait to close up shop for a week and go hiking or something. So keep being awesome, guys. We want to help you break through to a smart, stable financial future. And we want to help you not just see opportunities come your way, but where you can implement on those opportunities.
Yeah, you can open the door when it knocks.
Yeah, I want to be one of those people that says, "Oh yeah, you have that. I can help you get through that door." So,
Okay.
cool. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great one.